The fighter that drew the most attention came from the Salish Kootenai Nation on the Flathead Indian Reservation. His name, Marvin Camel. Marvin holds the distinction of being the first person recognized as a cruiserweight boxing champion of the world by two different professional sanctioning bodies, the WBC and the IBF.
It's unfortunate that he is undefeated, because when he leaves here, he's going to have that bitter taste in his mouth of being defeated for the first time.
I plan on my strategy is to try hurt and bust him up.
There it is. There it is, guys. You know what I mean? We need more of this. There it is. You're doing battle. You know, 1 minute. You're doing battle. You have both sides have their own views, their own thoughts, their own desires, their own wants. But then it's over, and you respect each other. And that's just beautiful. And I always say there's nothing like it in boxing. Boxing can teach the world. Can teach the world. Because there's no color, there's no religion, there's no ethnicity, there's just two men. And at the end of the day, they respect each other, they admire each other, they even love each other. Why? When they were trying to take each other's heads off before. Because they were doing their jobs to try to make it in a business that's their job. They acknowledge that they were the same. They were the same. They bleed red. They really were put here by the same God, whatever you believe in, and nature. There's for that moment, for those 36 minutes in that ring, in a 12-round fight, they're the same. They're two human beings that want to get to a better place for their families and themselves, and that have the same feelings that we all have: fear, inhibition, doubt, pride, hope, dream, all of that. And they know what each face. So when it's over, they hug each other in the most genuine way on this planet. In the most genuine, where there's none of those things that I talked about before, the prejudice, or nothing. Only admiration and respect for what each went through, knowing what they went through, knowing what they felt, knowing that if I felt this way, he felt this way. I had doubts. I had trouble getting in this ring because of my doubts. I had to put that aside. I had inhibitions. When I was a kid, I had things against me. All the things that we can all have. And I know what he went through. And I know what I went through. And that's one moment when we're all brothers. We're all truly brothers. We truly are brothers and sisters. And that's a reminder that we are. And that's the greatness. One of the parts of this sport that I recognize is the greatness of this sport.
It's the cumulative nature of it. He talked about where the fight comes from, right? It comes from the soul, right? It comes from the soul. Parents went through a lot, but they persevered, and that's what was inherent in him.
In front of friends, family, and a drum group that performed for him. Emotions were high as Camel was given the belts back. After winning both titles in the 1980s, Camel's belts and his dance regalia were stolen from him decades ago. However, last winter the belts were found in Missoula in a car that was about to be crushed, and they made their way back to Marvin's family. His brother Ken Camel retrieved the belts and spent months refurbishing the belts, designing them with Native American embroidery.
It's been 8 months in the works trying to get the thing to where it looked like a belt, but I found a weightlifting belt and it looked just like a world championship belt. So I said, halfway done. So then I started scraping on the metal on the belt to get the rust off. You see how weathered it looked? But I want it to look weathered because it says it's been somewhere. It's been on a journey.
Pandemic postponed Marvin's return, but eventually he made his way back to his home state from Florida, where he currently resides. Marvin's pride and gratefulness to his family and community was on full display. He thanked everyone profusely as he explained his pride of being a Montanan who accomplished these championships, but more importantly, a man from the Flathead Indian Reservation who represented his tribe and from a small town took on the world and returned a champion. For the one who stole his belts in the first place those many years ago, Camel's message is one of forgiveness.
It's unfortunate that it took an issue like this, a function like this, for me to come home again. But I tell you what, whoever took the belts, I have no animosities. If I see you and you said you're the one that took it, so be it. Because they're back with me now. You threw them in a place, I think, where you knew that they would be found. And I thank you for that. I don't thank you for taking them, but I thank you for putting them in a place that they could be found.